The part of that I want to start off reading today, it's very short, so we can get through it quite quickly. It's called You Need Me, I Don't Need You. So I'll start off. 1. Nuapians. Now that we have returned Ibrahimism, Mosheism, Mosism, Musaism, Yeshuaism, Iosisism, Esauism, their spookisms, their faithisms, their beliefism. 2. Now that you know who you are and remember where you are from. Nuapians, know thyself. 3. Now that you know what they are, where they came from, and what they will do if you trust them. 4. Now that you remove their coverings over yourself, remove their foods from your system, remove their beliefs from your mind, and remove the fear of them from your hearts. 5. Now you are ready. Africa for Africans. All others are welcome to visit. All others are welcome to help. I'll say that again because that's the title of the class. Will you help us to help you? Right? So verse 4 again from this part of that, called You Need Me, I Don't Need You. 5. Now you are ready. Africa for Africans. All others are welcome to visit. All others are welcome to help. All other races are welcome. Yet, no, Africa is the original home of all living things, creatures and persons. 6. I, Pa Munzal Natar Amun Nub Re Akpata Zedi. I have incarnated to you, from you, and of you to remove the spell of self-hate, race hate, ignorance, to raise the dead back to life. Make those who are blind see, to have those who appear deaf to listen, only to ask you to turn around and see your real self, who you really are and what you really have done. Long before others existed, you walked this earth, just you and deity. 7. Long before 6,000 years, you have no real birth record. You always were as Paut, all. 8. All others come from you. In fact, you are their God, their Allah, their Yahweh, their Christ, their Jesus. You are all that is and will ever be. Without you, none would exist. 9. Now, with Wu Nuapu, you are beginning to command yourselves again. 10. As it was in the beginning, so it is now at their end. It's your renewing. 11. Every 24,000 years, we must renew our records. 12. It's that time again. 6/21/2012. Summer solstice. So that's American date, but so it'll be the 21st of June, 2012. Summer solstice and 12/21/2012. So the 21st of December, 2012. Winter solstice. The new alignment, the eye of Re, will be seen looking upon all as the alignment takes place with the black hole, the planet Venus, and this planet looking on from the center of the Milky Way to each of you, the true all-eye seeing looking on you all. 13. As we renew our story and his story fades away. 14. Or do you still think you need them to rule you, to teach you, to preach to you? 15. Or do you still need their recommendation to be self, their approval in their religions, which is not your own? 16. You, Nuwapians, yourselves are your story. Don't let others tell you who you are and what you should be. 17. Truth is already written on your hearts, known and read by all. They all know you are God, their God. They worship you while they teach you to worship dead relatives of their blind faith. 18. You now must show that you are the living word, their God, their Christ, their Messiah. 19. The result of your teachings can't be written. It is born on paper as the living word with a spirit and soul that as you read enters your being and heals you, removing all fear, doubt, and sins. It transforms you back to God, being sinless. 20. You are the spirit and soul of the living Natharu, Nuwapians. 21. Not on or in their books, but in your hearts. 22. Such confidence as this is yours through Wu-Nawat. You are renewed, born again, made anew. 23. Not that you are competent by yourself to claim anything such as this of yourself. Don't fool yourselves, for your competence comes from Parnatharu, to you from above. 24. Parnatharu has made you competent as keepers of this living word made flesh in you. 25. Not of the letter, but by the words. 26. The living word, Wu Nuwapu. 27. For by words mortals kill, so also by words must you children of Parnatharu be raised back to life. 28. For by their religious words they brought death and killings, which was engraved and recorded in their scriptures. 29. By your words is life, and is everything to remove the fear of death, which they teach. 30. They can't look you in your face when you ask them of their teachings of death, killing, wars, which their scriptures teach, and they claim comes from their deities. What kind of deity watches as all this suffering takes place, as you offer more flesh and blood? 31. How can a deity condemn to death what and who he created with life? 32. For by that he or it, which or whom is glorious, has no real glory. 33. He or it, which or whom is righteous, is not right. 34. Now, in comparison with the surpassing glory or real or reality, truth is truth. 35. I know that they are fading away with their false glory, and now much greater is the glory of you who was first and now last. 36. Therefore, since you Nuwapians have actual facts, you are very bold, having no fear of anyone these days. 37. You are not like those who feared to speak out on Africa as Africans. You have no fear of none and no one. 38. Unlike those whose minds were made dull, and out of fear they refused to listen to the truth for fear of their masters, not Nuapians. Have no fear to stand up and say, I am African, proud of who and what I am. I don't need your religions, your gods, your beliefs. 39. I have been given all I need by nature right here in Africa, the best and richest part of the planet. 40. I don't need you, you need me, or you would have not left the caves and mountains to come to Africa. 41. You needed me. I did not and don't need you, or you would not have kidnapped me from Africa. I did not kidnap you. You needed me. 42. I don't need you. You need what nature has given me, or you would not come to Africa to take my natural resources. I don't need you. 43. I don't need you. You need me. And that concludes that part of that. Short, but very impactful. I'm sure you would agree. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, the title of today's class is Will You Help Us to Help You? And it's just to kick off the class, but we're really going to be going into Q&A for those who have questions. Now, many people may ask, what does the title mean? I mean, what do you think the title means? What do you get from it when you hear it? Would you like to use the mic? Please. And those on Clubhouse as well, please share the room. Let people know we're live. And those on Zoom as well, please share the room. Go ahead.
I suppose if you're in terms of helping us to help,
Shall I say the title again?
yeah, helping,
Will you help us to help you?
yes. So sometimes in life, people have certain resources and certain things, and I think people get into a certain mentality that they think that they have to do everything by themselves, and they don't realize that that mentality alone is what holds them back. Because if they were to look for the help, because help is there, then they would realize that there is enough help there and enough resources there for them to do everything that they want to do and need to do to help themselves.
Yeah.
So if you don't reach out for help, you won't receive help.
Tour. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyone else on Zoom or Clubhouse? Okay. Let me make sure that. Can people hear us on Zoom? Are we still on Zoom? Yeah, we are. Anyone on Zoom? We have. Okay, we have 28 people on Zoom. Oh, Colby's got his hand up. Right. Sorry.
My question, sorry, quicker.
I'm hearing two people speak. Go ahead, Colby.
Okay, so what I take from the title, what were you asking? The title of the class or the title of the Pateract?
The title of the class, but if you want to comment on anything on the part of right, we can also, yeah, you can also comment on that too.
Okay. So what I took from the Pateract was in terms of you need me to help you. What I take from that, from what you read is
the title is "You Need Me, I Don't Need You."
I don't need you. Yeah. Okay. So from that, what I take from that is the master teacher declaring that obviously foreign people had to come into our lands in Africa and take from us in order to build their world essentially. But then leading on to the class, the title in the class is now looking at maybe the diaspora or the people who have gone away from Africa and now they're in this European world, this Western world, and it's asked the question of, will you now sorry, say the question of the class again.
The title is, Will You Help Us to Help You?
Yeah, so it's basically saying to the diaspora or those who are living outside of Africa or the traditional African ways on will you help Africa so Africa can help you. That's sort of the analogy I'm getting after you reading the part of Arabic.
Okay. Tawat. Anyone else? Okay, cool. So the first thing we should really ask is, who is it speaking to? Oh, who's that?
Jose.
Oh, Jose, Rawabat. Go ahead.
Zamal. I have a different understanding on this. When I
Go ahead.
read the title, will you help survive culture, asking the question to human beings? That's the way I look at it.
Right.
Like will you help us to
Sorry, you're breaking up a bit.
help you as the culture asking the question to humanity?
Excellent. Good perspective. Yeah. That's what I was about.
That's it.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say, that in Wu-Sabat, as you know, we always say, break the words down, break out, like, will you help us to help you? Who is the you? Because it could be, I could be speaking to you individually, you, or you as a group of people, society, humanity, and then who would be the us? Because it says, will you help us to help you? So who would be the us? And the us is really, as you say, Sabians, Wu-Sabat, the new teachers of this day and time. Would you help us? Because we are the ones here to help you, as in you individually or you humanity. So that's really the question. Will you help us? Because if you accept that Pana Babyanun is the guide, if you accept he's the one to bring this change that everyone claims or says they want, and the way he's doing that is by way of Wu-Sabat, by giving us back our culture and letting us know who we are by way of the Patarak we read, that you are the deity, you are the beings that everyone has got from, right? Even going back to ancient Tamaray or Africa or Egypt, any other places in Africa where he says the resources have been placed there for us to use to help humanity. But what's happened is you have been misled, made to be afraid, made to not recognize who you are, and given these foreign religions, as in the monotheistic religions, etc., that got you to forget who you are and to worship others. And then the same people took your resources to enslave you and enrich themselves. All right? So if we're saying that, we're reversing that now by way of natural nature, because we're now in the sun cycle, we're in what people are calling the Aquarian age, we're in the new cycle of the first shall be the last and the last shall be the first. And we are now waking back up. So if you know all of this to be true and you see the power of the master teacher, Parnabab Yanun, Dr. Malachi Z. York, and the power of Wu-Sabat, what it's doing across the world and helping people, humanity, then if you as a individual or a group would like to see this change, then will you help us to make that happen? And the first and most important help is to start with yourself. You have to, like he says in this, you have to wake up and stop being, fearful, stop being subservient, start to get yourself back into the divine and supreme being that you are supposed to be, which most look at and term God. You see, so we're literally saying the first thing is to get yourself right. And once you're right, then you then lend a hand to help someone else. And that's why we say each one teach one. But then the one that needs the most help right now is Partner Babianun, because he has been incarcerated for doing this, for bringing about this knowledge, for bringing about these scrolls. And so the help we need is more urgent right now for him. And that's why we say, will you help us to help you? Because his incarceration and him not having his freedom means we don't have our freedom. So when I say you, although you can look at that as you individually, yourself, you can also look at it as us collectively as one, because we are one. So will you help us to help you by freeing Partner Babianun and by freeing ourselves? Yeah, so, and people are going to say, well, what help? What can I do? And no matter how small it is, if everybody did their part, their little part, collectively, it's massive. So that's what today's about. Right now, it's more urgent because we say to people all the time, okay, read the scrolls. Yes, definitely read the scrolls, because that's helping you. We are helping the world by putting out the knowledge and the information for free. And I've been doing so for over 50 years and will continue to do so, because it's about finding those beings, those people that still have their soul, that still want to make these changes. And every single person that we can find that is touched by way of Partner Babianun, by way of Wu-Sabat, you should be helping. And how do you help? Well, the first thing is to get yourself in order. And that is ongoing, that's work in progress. And then the second thing is going to be meet with family. We say all the time, go to the stores. No matter where you are around the world, wherever there's a Nuwapian, Sabian store, community, temple, you should be going there and frequently going, because there are things you're not going to get from being on the outside. You know, so when you look at our official website, you do see, you know, the many. If you go to the orders and association, which is this section here, there are many orders, right? And you're not going to know what is taught inside these orders unless you yourself are a part of them. So you have to work your way into the orders. You have to be amongst the family. You have to be around, you know, the classes. And a lot of people shy away because when you're in the family, there's work to be done. There is work to be done. Everything we do involves work. So, and that work requires help. Some people may have been around listening to the classes for years, reading the books, but they're not helping. Of course, you are helping if you're helping yourself develop and improve. But I'm saying it in terms of like current, like what is needed right now. People say, yeah, I've helped in the past, or I used to help, but you know, this is an ongoing thing. We have to build. We have to, like I said, put all our efforts in to free the master teacher. That's mentally, physically, spiritually. So all your chants and all your intentions, your visualizations, your meditations, all of this also helps. So it's not always monetary, although that is also a part of it. We have to build physically because we have to accommodate everyone, you see. So will you help us to help you? People have been listening and, as I said, reading the books. And I put a question to people. Have you contributed to Partner Babylon's legal? You know, like today, this week, this month, this year, you know, everything you do will help towards us helping you, because people say they want the books. You know, there's so many titles, over 1,000 titles. People say they want a place where they can go and have the, you know, the ability to do the rituals and, you know, get healed and all these things that we talk about. So people want to live and be in a particular type of environment, right? How are we going to do all of these things if you don't contribute and if you don't help? And there are many ways I'm going to touch on that you can help. The first one is the legal, as I said. And if you, or on the website, you can just go, there's a search facility right here. You can type, how can I help? How can I help? And once you do that, it takes you to the page that explains, right? So that's the search result. I'll click on that. Wow, many people are joining. How can I help? And you can help by a free will offering. You have the details right there for the PayPal that you can donate to. You have the bank address if you want to do a transfer. But it's there. That's one way you can help. Yeah. You can help by coming to the stores, go to the stores, participate in all the events and things that people are doing. Pretty much every student teacher that you see up here is a part of one of the orders, and perhaps more than one. So being a part of the brotherhood, being a Nuwapian man, attending the Nuwapian man meetings and being involved, because that's how you know what projects we're working on and what we're doing collectively, right? You can also obviously be a part of the community, the family, be part of the sisters, meetings and so forth. So if you don't know how to help, because the question is, will you help us to help you? And how are we going to help you? We're going to help the same way we've been helping, by putting this information out, building communities, practicing our culture, making sure we provide all the things we need as a culture. And that's everything. So when people say they can't get involved, I don't know, are you afraid of building something for yourself? Because the truth is we need it, right? People can't be afraid of truth. Because if you're afraid of the truth, that means you like lies. So anyway, I know when these serious types of topics are spoken or come up, people do, I don't know, they shy away, but don't feel any way. And then we have other things that are going on. So on that same page, we've got the legal efforts and we have projects that we're working on. The Sanctuary of Yanun, for example. This is going on right now. And it's a place where you're going to be able to, one of a kind on the planet. Look, the first of its kind on the planet, a venture being constructed in Trinidad. You can help. The contact details are right there. So will you help us to help you? Any questions about anything so far? Oh yeah. In each store, in each community, they're also participating in many things. It doesn't always have to be something you do by yourself. It could be a fundraising event. You know, we've done a few. There are many, many ways we can do things to help spread Wu-Sabat. It's propagating. It's making videos to get the word out there like we do. We put out videos constantly. And we speak to different people. We are out there talking to people. So there's a lot to be done. There's propagating to be done, finances to raise, stores to build, temples to build, schools, name it. Everything you are unhappy with in this system or in the Mukasu system, do you not have a skill? Do you have something you can contribute or give? Yes, you do. Everybody does. So help us to help. Will you help us to help you? Very quiet today. Any questions? Anyone? Rahubat sis? Let me see. Where's Zoom? Zoom people are quiet today. 34 people on Zoom. Any questions?
I'm here, Rahubat. I'm here.
Okay. No.
The place I'm in is kind of really tough to get to the communities because the closest one will be like New York, and I'm all the way in Minnesota, Midwest, and that's my next step is try to get to one of the families out there. That's going to be like a couple of 100 miles away. So, what would you suggest for people like me that's that don't have no family around, but at the same time we do have the website, which is we could get in touch with the brothers, but it's a little different than being in front of family members and being around them. So what would you suggest for people like me?
Excellent. That's 2 points. I would say the first one is when people say they can't make it somewhere, it's generally, I'm not saying you don't have a valid reasons, but if I was to say travel 2,000 miles to come and get £1 million, I guarantee you people will find a way, right? That's a reality. Now, if you can't make it regularly, you can try going maybe once a month, once every 2 months, whatever the frequency. The reality is that you making that effort and being around family, you're going to benefit so much from that once a month or whatever. And it's the same with the help. Like, when people, I've heard people talk about going to stores or maybe not getting the best service or not getting their orders in on time. But what they don't do is think about what it takes to make these things happen and how they could help make that process better, or if they were able to contribute 1 day a week to help out at the store, they might bring a different, energy and vibes to it. But yes, the second point is you're right. We can also utilize online. And, these days, people can work from anywhere in the world online, and there's still help that you can give online. For example, you can help with answering questions. You look at the comments sections of our videos, there's millions of questions. Once we publish one video, we move on to the next one and the next one and the next one. But people that see that video that we may have done last year, they will post comments and maybe have questions, and people can go in there and read and answer certain questions. You can help with marketing, social media, distribute. There's many things you can do from your home or from online. So I'm just saying, I can feel your energy. You mean well, but when I'm saying these things for everyone's benefit, there are many things you can do and help with even remotely, and you can attend classes, and there are chants that are done on Telegram. You can still participate. That's what we say to a lot of our people that are in Africa, and they're like, oh, there's no bookstores here and we don't have a community here. When are you guys coming here? When we're going to have a store? And like, the more we hear that, we're like, wow, like you are that person in that place that may be the seed to start something there. Start study groups, get together with other people, and you start it, and then we will help build. And so everyone has potential. Everyone can do, like, you can create whatever you want as a god, as a goddess, if that's your, you know what I mean, your passion, your calling. So I hope that helps.
To idea, brother.
All
Thank
right,
you.
you're welcome. And
Sure, sir.
Kobe, go ahead. You have your hand up. Kobe.
Yeah, sorry, quick question. Yeah, I remember.
To
Quick question. I did put it in the chat. In the part of that you just read, you mentioned a date in 2012
Yeah.
and Pluto. I just wanted to get clarification on that date.
Right. I mentioned two dates. There were the summer solstice, which was the 21st of June 2012, and then the winter solstice, which was also the 21st of December 2012.
May I ask what was happening in 2012
Right.
for
So,
those 2 days to be? Yeah.
yeah, sure. The alignment was happening. Do you remember the movie called 2012?
Yes, it's been a while since I've watched it though.
Okay, but you did watch it, right? If you watch the movie 2012, because this was the dimensional shift, a lot of people were talking about the dimensional shift, and we're talking about the Mayan calendar, and saying that was the end of the world. And when you watch the movie 2012, it explains about what took place, the catastrophes, and then the floods, and they were building this boat like Noah's Ark. For those, I know it's a spoiler for those who've never watched the movie, but it's quite old now. You should be able to, but go and watch it. And yeah, so only those who could get on the boat were allowed to get on the boat, and it wasn't based on how much money you had. It wasn't based on religion. It was based on the skills and what you will be able to bring to help with the rebuilding of the new world. And the new world, because most of the world was destroyed. The most memorable part of that movie is what? Anyone that watched the movie, if you can remember. The end. Right, use the mic. Please use the mic. Someone's alert, someone's awake. Yeah. Let me see, because that was what stood out for me.
One of the only places on the planet that wasn't affected by the destruction was Africa.
100%. Go. That's when they came out of the flood and the whole world. The only place that was still there was Africa, and that tells you a lot. See, they will show you and tell you things in movies in a subliminal way, but if you don't know what's really being conveyed, you just see it as a movie. But in that, they were telling you that, you know, the safest place to be when these things come, you should be listening and paying attention to the signs. So alignments of planets and, you know, certain things in nature will let you know what's going on. Right now, everyone's afraid of Three-Eye Atlas. But go back and watch our videos. We told you about Apophis, and there's a video I did. Half of the time, you know, I can't remember the name of the video because we do so many videos, but I'm sure someone in the audience will be able to remember the one we did where I gave the names of the different, the meteorite and what they were trying to do, and I gave movies to go and watch like Armageddon and Deep Impact, and these are movies that they've been telling you what's coming, you see. So you should not be caught out if you know what's coming and you've been preparing. And that's what we do with Wu-Sabat. We're ahead of the game. We've been ahead of the game for we're probably 100 years ahead of everyone else. And now everyone is talking about things we were talking about 50 years ago. So where do you think we are now in terms of where we are at, in terms of the knowledge and information that Parnabab is sharing with us? It's not all public. But what I'm saying is, nothing anyone is saying out there right now, whether it's Anunnaki, extraterrestrials, or Jesus having children and being married and 3-parent birth, tri-solar systems, Name it. Nothing anyone else is saying out there we haven't already said in our books by way of Pana Babylon, by way of the master teacher. And now everyone is like, wow, he said this so many years ago, the Millennium Book, the year 2000, What to Expect, the Luciferian Conspiracy, Leviathan, 666. He was breaking down the whole 666 thing years ago that you hear a lot of people talking now. So what we're saying, this is what I'm saying, like, will you help us to help you? Because we have so much we need to accomplish in such a short space of time. But our people, like, they like to be lastminute.com. You know, and then when it's all going down, then everyone wants to panic. And it's too late because you have to be prepared. You can't, you can't build a house in a day, can you? Well, depends what kind of house you're building, but if it's going to be safe and secure and everything, go lay a solid foundation and then build on top. So, yeah, that's the dates it was referring to because it's talking about the alignment. It said that from that, it's from verse 12. It's that time again, 6/21/2012, summer solstice, 12/21/2012, winter solstice. The new alignment, the eye of Re will be seen looking upon all as the alignment takes place with the black hole, right? The black hole, the planet Venus, and this planet looking on from the center of the Milky Way to each of you, the true all eye seeing, looking on you all. So that's again referring to when you look at the all seeing eye. It's the eye on top of the pyramid, right? You can pull it up, which means a lot. So if you look at the dollar bill, dollar bill, right? The dollar bill. Why the dollar bill? Why is the dollar bill so significant? Let me move this out of the way. Anyone? Why is the dollar bill so significant? Here you go.
Because it has a lot of things that date back to Egypt. It got the pyramids in there. It has a whole lot of subliminal things in there, and it seems like it's all the knowledge that comes from Egypt. If you look at the bird, that's the sign of Enlil, the sky god. Thing you got the pyramids with the eye on the top, and
That's right.
it's just, yeah, it's just there.
It's all there. And that eye, all seeing eye, is you. Because when you get to the top of your development, whatever you want to call it, you become that God looking down. And to be God is to take on the responsibility. And this is what I'm talking about. A lot of people are shirking their responsibility. And we can go and break down the pyramids, as my brother Omar was saying, it's from Egypt. And it's telling you your story. And people say Illuminati, blah, blah, blah. Well, really, it's the capstone. Like, you climb up to the top and you become that god or goddess that you have to now act and do and be the supreme being that you're supposed to be. But yeah, so yeah, they tell you your entire story and how they stole you and everything from Egypt. So when we're saying that all-seeing eye, it's you. Your third eye. You're climbing up to the top of your chakra at the top before you realize who you really are. And when you get to that top and your eyes open, boom. You're supposed to be able to see all things and know all things. All right. So yeah, I hope that answered your question, Kobe.
Partly, can I just probe a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
So I think the first thing I'll ask to that is,
Wow.
what is significant about those particular dates? Like, is there anything significant about those two in particular compared to the other summer and winter solstice?
Yeah.
And when did the master teacher write this part so that for him to be talking about 2012? That'll just be interesting to know as well.
Okay. The things with the Patriarchs is that they came out after 2002, right? However, a lot of them, some of them, may have been written way before then, because the time they came out is not when they were written, because sometimes what people don't realize is that, okay, let me give an example. You know, when an artist, like a musical artist, crosses over and then all of a sudden all this new music is coming out and people are like, but they're no longer here. It's because they've got catalogs of music that they haven't published. It's the same with the master, because some people were like, oh, he's not the one writing the books. But he had already a catalog of information, and so much was written before he went inside, and some of it was written when he was being moved around, and a lot of it was written when he was inside. So as to when it came out, it will be after 2002, when he was incarcerated. The part about what's significant about it, it was the change, this dimensional shift. That's what was so important about it, because people were talking about the end of the world, but the end of the world that people are talking about started in the year 2000. But because that was the beginning of what they refer to as the second half hour, the first half hour being from 1970 to the year 2000. Now, from 2000 to 2030, which is what we're living in now, the dimensional shift came in 2012, which is when I said everybody was worrying about the end of the world. But that was it was a shift that took place. And when these shifts takes place, they take place based on alignments and certain things. And that's what was significant about that, because many people thought that was going to be the end of the world based on the Mayan calendar. But the master teacher broke it down that it was the end of the world for certain, or a type of world, or a system. The world you're seeing around us that has been in rulership for so long that is actually crumbling as we speak. And it's a countdown to 2030, where there are certain things taking place. I touched on what they're calling 3-eye atlas. That they've seen it. They've used. I was breaking that down in that video I mentioned before with the James Webb telescope. Now that is the most powerful telescope that they've got that can look into the birth of the universe, and now they're able to see more things, and that's how they've caught this. What they're calling 3-eye, because the I stands for, anyone? What does the I stand for? Speak up, don't be scared. In 3-eye atlas, you know, right now on the news they're talking about this meteorite that's heading our way and is going to hit, or they say it might just miss, but yeah, they're preparing.
Is it the third eye?
That's an interesting one. I didn't see that, but that's good. But it's not that. But yeah, I like that.
Interstellar.
Interstellar. Who was that? You got it?
That's Lorraine.
Hey, Lorraine. Yeah, Interstellar. See, this is what we are. Like, we don't pay attention to detail. Like, when you see something like, oh, 3-eye atlas coming on the news, the first thing you should do is start to research. What the hell does that mean? Why did they give you that name? And why Atlas? And why is it coming here? And so on and so forth. So, yeah, Interstellar, because it's all about, the master's been teaching us this, like, you are extraterrestrials. This planet has been owned and run by extraterrestrials for years. That's why it's called Plan ET. We say planet. But, you know, they're beings that have been here. They're beings that want to claim this for their own. They're beings that don't like humans and they want to wipe you out. Or you know, there's so much going on the planet. They're so advanced, some of these beings, that they can mimic and do things to fit in. Can walk right with you on the street and you won't even know. And we have that ability because we're also able to shapeshift and do certain things. But you have no idea of your power because a lot of people are not activating that third eye. And interstellar, these are beings that are able to travel intergalactically. And now we're moving to that day and time where people are going to witness and see these things. There's a lot of cover up to make you still think. I mean, it's actually ridiculous in 2025 for anyone still hoodwinked and under religion, when we've been telling you it's books and stories about extraterrestrials. It's so clear. That's why I said religion is dead. Everyone in the books of religion are dead. There's nothing new about religion. If something is not changing, it's not alive. That's the one constant thing, is change. So if you're not changing, you're dead. So religion is dead. But people still try to hold on to it because they're afraid to let go and move into this new dimension. Why are they afraid? Apart from you've been doing it for so long that it's become a habit and you're just stuck in doing something that doesn't make sense, but you do it anyway. But why are people scared of leaving religion? My questions are not, they're not trick questions. I'm just like...
I did not understand the questions. Why people are afraid
to leave religion.
Religion?
Yeah, to drop it, let it go.
They don't know anything else.
I have an answer on that one.
Sorry, one at a time. Who was first? I see your hand, Josie. I'm coming to you. Yeah.
Sorry, it was me. Sorry. I said they don't know anything else.
Yes.
It's the fear of the unknown.
They do know because we're here telling them. We've been telling them for over 50 years. No one on this planet can really say they don't know because it's all over social media. They're afraid of their God burning them up in hell. That's what they're afraid of. They're scared to leave because they've been told, if you don't believe and follow this book and this deity, you're going to be burned up in hell forever. So people are scared to do that. I see you're itching to say something, Zamata. Please use the mic.
I agree with what you're saying, but I also think they're scared of the responsibility.
Oh, absolutely, yes. That's what being God is, right?
Yeah, because if you... Essentially, what religion gives you is that you don't have to be responsible.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel worthy. You don't have to love yourself. You just put all your love and your energy and everything into something else or someone else, and then you'll be looked after for the rest of your life, and then you don't have to think about it ever again. And rather than, I think with Wu-Sabat, it gives you the wheel is in your hands. So you either drive it or you crash.
That's right.
And people are afraid of that because especially if they've been in religion, because now they have the mentality of not feeling worthy. So now you give them the wheel and they're like, no, I've not driven before and I don't know how to drive and don't give me that because I'm going to crash. So they've already eliminated the idea of them being able to take control before they even taken control or tried anything for themselves.
And that's called programming. I think the sister's got a hand. She wants to... let me let you finish and then we'll...
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that because I agree, Zamaltat. And it's interesting, like when you have that external locus of control and you give that control up, a lot of people, some are therapists, and I see a lot of people who have that external locus of control, they tend to have a lot of depression, a lot of mental health disorders because they feel like they're losing control of their life and they don't know what to do about it. And they don't seek to maintain their own look at themselves as God. You know, they refuse to do that. But they end up with a lot of mental health disorders when they don't do that. And so a lot of therapy, even in quote-unquote Western therapy, it's trying to get you to have a more internal locus of control and know like what is in your control, how can you manage your life, how do you use these skills, how do you apply yourself, how do you feel more good about who you are. And it's interesting how in Western therapies they try to like get you back into that, but don't want you to be too far into your internal locus of control to consider yourself God.
So you're still under control.
Like, absolutely, trying to control you.
Absolutely, thank you. You're both absolutely right. And how can you hand over your life to someone or something that doesn't exist? That means you're delusional. You're fooling yourself. To think someone else is going to come and take away, as they say, all your sins. But the same person that you're being told is going to do that came and failed. He couldn't save himself. So how is he going to save you? And it is mental health, like when you deal with religion, because when you start to look at the entire thing, like no one's coming. Because he claimed that he will be back soon, as they say. How long is soon? If I said to you, I'll be back soon, right? How long would you expect me to go before I come back? And how long would you be willing to wait? There are people that come to the store waiting to see me. Like, do you think, okay, they might wait an hour. 2 hours is pushing it. 3 hours, a whole day, a week, a month, a year. But this is 2,000 years that this claim was made. He's coming back. 2,025 years later, people are still waiting. So it's like, would you go on a date and wait for this guy for that long? He's not coming, clearly, or she's not coming. So, yeah, it's a fear of responsibility, being God. And gods are responsible. Yeah, of course. Go ahead. I see the hands up on Zoom. We just got a few people in class. It's already, yeah. I think you've just turned it off.
Yeah, I feel that we can't force a plant or a tree to grow, because the human family is a tree, and we have to let the tree follow its protocols.
Okay.
You can't force it to grow. You just have to let it follow its natural protocols to grow.
And you're saying that to say...
I know that humans will wake up, but it's just timing.
No, but this is the thing. This is why we're here, because people don't even know they're asleep.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know when you go to sleep every day?
Yeah.
No, you don't. You don't actually know when you fall asleep.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
be lying down and you drift into sleep.
Yeah.
So you don't actually know when you fall asleep. That's how easy it is. People have been put to sleep by the spell, and they've been asleep for 6,000 years. And it's even gone to the point where you say they're in a coma state, right? Because when you're in a coma, you're not dead, are you? Are you?
No.
You're not dead.
No.
But you're there in this state where you could wake up from, or you may never wake up. And they have to say, you know what, we've waited too long, let's pull the plug. You see? But the day and time we're in right now, the whole point of the master teacher coming is to wake you up from that spell, from that sleep, the spell of sleep known as Kingu, Leviathan. So if you just remain there like that, like what you're saying is, oh, everyone will just know they need to be woken up. And it's like, when you go, for those who still go to work and do like the 9 to 5 or whatever, do you set an alarm to wake you up in the morning? You do, right? Why would you set an alarm? Why don't you just go, oh, I'll wake up when I wake up, and then that's the time I'm supposed to wake up? Because you've got to be somewhere at 9 o'clock. So some people naturally, their internal clock, I see all the hands up on Zoom, I'm not ignoring you, they have an internal clock where they can just wake up at the same time every day because you've trained yourself. Others will hear the alarm and reach out and just turn it off and go back to sleep. And others will jump up as soon as they hear the alarm. This is what's happening on the planet when it comes to you being...
More people are waking up now compared to maybe 10 years ago. So it's still happening.
Right, that's because Partner Babylon is here. That's the alarm. That's what I'm saying. That's the alarm bell. He's come and he's like, wake up, you sleeping gods. And now the mummies are waking up. He's saying, come out, Lazarus, You know, the stories they give you about Jesus waking up Lazarus from the grave. This is what we're saying that. I saw, oh, you are on the stage. Atifa, I haven't forgotten about you. I tried to bring you up on stage before, but okay. I'm going to come to you soon. Yeah, so Partner Babyanun's like, boom, time. And that time is called now. It's actually something that was programmed in your DNA to wake you up once you hear his voice, read his book, or anything to do with him waking you up. And now the sleeping gods are waking up all over the world. This is what they feared the most, this day and time coming. And that's what they've been expecting. And they tried to stop this from happening by eliminating anyone who seemed to be that person. You know, they set up COINTELPRO to look out for the Black Messiah. This is the terms they used, right? So anyone, whether it's Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Noble Drew Ali, Clarence 13X, Ben Yahweh, anyone who they thought would be that person to wake us up. The first shall be the last shall be the first, right? I don't have any mods on Clubhouse, so I'm going to try my best to bring everyone up. So what we're saying is, yes, you can't just say people are going to wake up on their own, because it's like we started a race, somebody tripped you over, tied your hands behind your back, and made you forget who you really are, and they were running and winning the race for 6,000 years, and boom, year 2000 came, wake up time, all right? Jose, in fact, let's let Atefe, if I'm pronouncing your tones properly, go ahead, sis, and then we'll come back to the brothers on Zoom. Because it seems you've been waiting a while.
So, I just wanted to respond to everything you were saying, but you moved forward so fast that it would just seem
No, it's fine.
So,
It's okay. You can go backwards.
Forward, I'm just going to keep up with you.
Okay, but if you want to say anything, going back is fine. All right.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Jose, go ahead. Rahubat.
Yeah, I want to follow up on the customer service point that was brought up about the class, especially when it comes to the online support that we can give.
Yeah.
Because I have a vast experience on customer service, especially online. And I would love to start doing it. I would like to know if there is any requirement that is needed in order to start doing it on YouTube or on the best social media platforms that are out there.
Okay.
Or either OSM Vision or Wu-Sabat.
Cool.
Because, we are ready to put that. I can even train hundreds of Sabians in order to do that. Even AI, we can work on that. But I would like to know if there is any requirements needed in order to start doing, because I'm ready, or we are ready here.
No problem. You're already attending an Wapian Man meeting, so we can pick that up. That's not a problem. All right.
Okay. 100%.
Okay. Yeah. We just have to take it offline because. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. One more point on the reason why people are afraid to drop religion that was also brought throughout the meeting. Is it's also you mentioned that yes, it's the fear of God and hell, and which is 100% correct. And I was looking at it on also a different angle on it's also related with identity, because of the belief, what it means itself, and the regurgitation that each people are into it as well. Because basically, what most people fear about dying, about death, happens every night when they go to sleep.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah. It's something you can't do. That's why I was saying, I asked the brother, do you know when you go to sleep? Because sleep in our doctrine, as broken down to us by Partner Babyanun, is the sister to death. Right? If you went to sleep and didn't come back, how would you know you were dead? because that's exactly how it happens, where you drift into it. It's the same with being spiritual. People think being spiritual is something that you get a yoga mat and fold your legs and close your eyes and now you're spiritual. And it's become I don't know who's laughing, but it's become a fad where you just see people with their yoga mats and they think that doing Pilates or that they're spiritual. No, there's more to it than that. So yeah, it's intentional. We naturally are spiritual. It's only people who okay, sorry, someone in the chat. Yeah, so it's like you drift into being you, like your spirituality. It's not something we have to try so hard to be. We're naturally that, but we need to know who we are and be awakened to recognize that. All right, Omar, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had two questions. I ain't gonna try to make it long, but one question is, why do the entities that's running this planet, why do they leave subliminals? They're not being too secretive. You know, if they was trying to keep us contained in a way we will never find out, they wouldn't throw no subliminals out there.
You see, again, they tell you, they actually tell you everything in plain sight. You heard of the movies Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what it is, they've been testing to see if your eyes are open, if you are now no longer afraid of them. So from time to time, they will put things out to either instill that fear we're talking about, where people won't move. So they do these social experiments. It's problem, reaction, solution. They will put a problem out and watch to see the reaction, and then they will say these people are still asleep. But more and more now, they're realizing people are not asleep anymore because, like, it's not working as it used to. Back in the days, like even the whole mask of religion, like we've opened your eyes to it to the point where you're looking at it now like, wow, did I actually really believe this? Did I used to fear God? Did I used to fear I'm going to hell? Now you don't have that fear. That's why I read that part of that, because they are trying to see how much power or control they have. Because remember, it was a hypnotic spell. Yeah, it's somebody putting you in a trance, and imagine I'm doing this to your eyes to see if you're awake, and you don't recognize. So it's a mechanism where they do these things to see if you're awake. But now everyone just breaks it down and exposes everything as soon as they do. Remember the concerts like they have with like the Super Bowl, or all of these things they used to do.
Yeah.
You didn't even used to watch and see the rituals that were being performed right in front of you. But now everybody knows and everyone can see it. Well, not everyone, but the majority of people are waking up. And so, yeah, they when the Rodney King thing happened, they were like, let's see if people are going to rise up and even come to do anything. But obviously, in recent time, you see the riots and certain people don't just like go to sleep anymore. So even with just Ibrahim Traore from Burkina Faso, people in the West are saying, you trouble him and we're ready to come to his defense. That's to show you that it is our time. We are waking up, and we're not trying to incite any violence, but they are, what did Michael Jackson says, what's that song? They don't really care about us. And there was another one,
Black or white.
Black or White, Busta Rhymes. Let me see if anyone's gonna get this one. Busta Rhymes. What did Busta Rhymes say? Too much of us is dangerous. Dangerous. Right? So when you go back now and look at these songs and then these people, Michael Jackson, etc., that was at a time when he was also like standing up. He had the catalog, the Beatles catalog. He was like, I've paid all my debts to Sony. All of these people, we can go on and on, Angie Stone and many people that start to talk out and speak out. Some of them forget they made a pact and they actually signed contracts, you know. So yeah, it's a time where, going back to what I read before, and you know, you should definitely read this part of that. It's so impactful. It's so short. I know many people missed it when I read it before, but that's what it's saying. Like, I'll read a little bit more. It says, I'll read from 24. Parnatharu has made you competent as keepers of this living word and flesh in you. 25, not of the letter by the words, because they tell you in the beginning was the words, right? So 26, the living word, which is Wu-Sabat. 27, for by words mortals kill, right? So also by words must you children of Parnatharu be raised back to life. Yes, these words of Wu-Sabat. 28, for by their religious words they brought death and killings, which was engraved and recorded in their scriptures. 29, by your words is life, and is everything to remove the fear of death, which they teach. Because that's one of the keys. Like we're saying, people are afraid to die. But how can you be afraid to die and then say energy cannot be destroyed? So are you really going to die? No. So what are you afraid of? And the funny thing is, most people don't realize that what they're calling death is life and what they're calling life is death, because they've switched everything back to front. So they make evil fair seeming. So when people say, I want to go to that next realm, you have to shed this skin suit. Yet the Pope, who's supposed to be so close to God, was scared to die. How do we know this? He drove around in a bulletproof Pope mobile. But you're like the second person to God, as they teach in their world, right? So why are you not in a hurry to go and meet him? You know, these are the things that in religion people don't, if your eyes are still closed, you're not going to see it. Sorry, Omar, you have another question, or I'll move on to Jackie. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my other question is, this may sound a little bizarre, but it's from experience that I went through, but what is the closest way to experience death? I mean, because I died back in 2012 for 4 minutes, and I was in coma for 7 days, and from my experience, you know, that's when I got rid of religion. I started, you know, going the spiritual path, but how would someone experience that in a way that's not, you know, where you're going to really cross over, but get close to that experience?
Okay, you didn't really die. That's why they call it a near-death experience. If you're near it, you're not dead, right? But
yeah. Well, my heart stopped for 4 minutes.
No, I feel you. I hear you.
So I didn't cross over.
We die every night. That what you're calling death is leaving this physical skin suit. And the master said that we should have developed to the point where we can come out of our skin suit at will anytime we want. But a lot of people, because of that fear, when they feel that happening, you know, what people call sleep paralysis or astral projection, like, you should be able to do that. But the thing is, because he hasn't been around to teach some people how to do it properly, the fear of leaving before your time and being trapped out there also kicks in. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you know, you hear people say people were in their sleep and they passed on, and they were like, they were healthy, nothing was wrong with them. They've left their body and haven't been able to get back. Some people can, if that's their time to go, that's their time to go. But this is why we don't meddle or play around with things like that without knowing what you're doing. But the way to experience it is through astral projection. Is most people don't even practice dying. That sounds funny. But if you ever read the scrolls, like the master put out years ago called What and Where is Hell. Yeah, those books. Like, this is an exercise you can do. Lay on the floor when you can, you know, in your house or your apartment, whatever, and imagine you're dead, right? Now, when I say that, really think about it. Like, you're actually inside, if you're buried, that is. We know we cremate, so. But if you, like, read that book I mentioned, What and Where is Hell, and think about your body like you're actually there in the ground, and all these, like, maggots and worms and everything just eating at your flesh, and just think about that. And as you're lying on the floor, really think about how you would really go through that experience. It will help you to kind of like recognize that this is just a skin suit, and the attachment that you have to physical things and the emotions you attach to physical things, you have to start to learn that you got to let go of those, because when you are going, if you don't cremate, that's gonna be the attachments that hold you back here, you see. And so that's why if you think about it and practice it, when it actually happens, you're not gonna be that. Another one is to think about, this is all about detachment, right? Think about the person or that thing you would not want to lose, that you have such a bond with or an attachment with. Think about them not being here, or the process of whatever happens and they're no longer gonna be here. Now, when you do that, it will get you to realize you can't, it could be, again, it could be your children, it could be your loved one, it could be your mother, whoever it is. If you don't practice that, it comes as a shock when you actually hear it. Oh, they're gone. You're like, what? Then people start crying and all. But if you prepare for these things, because it's going to happen whether you like it or not, and you don't know when it's going to happen, so you might as well prepare and practice for it. And that will really give you a reality check of, you know, like, is that car really important? Is that house important? Is that person important? Of course they're important, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to hold your soul here because of the attachment to that thing or that person. So you have to learn to let go, relax and let go. That's one of my favorite Relaxing with the Ethereum tune that I think it's on YouTube. But I hope that answered the question, Omar. We got to.
Yeah, what scroll can I get to find out how to protect myself during like an astral projection? Because I accidentally do astral project, but I don't know what's going to happen. Right when that happens, I touch my body automatically, find my body and wake myself up because I don't know what to expect. So, what scroll can I get to protect me so I can learn more about it?
Okay, the 24 elders, that's a master secret.
Okay.
The spiritual you after the physical you dies, that's
Okay.
another master secret. Soul, spirit, that's a part of that. 30 spirits, 30 spirits is another part of that. But that's a great question, because like the 24 elders goes through, man, when I read that, I mean, that's like when you first read Genetic Kiss, it's such an eye-opener that, you realize, wow, got to do better, got to start like really putting in the work spiritually and doing the things that, but to go back to the astral projection thing, the diet is so key. The diet, so no flesh, lots of water intake, many things that we've spoken about, mindfulness, the shuk. When we say shuk, we're talking about that divine love. There, the meditation, the relaxation, just really realizing that there is a I'm trying to remember it. There was a I have to use the word. There was a prayer that we used to say that trying to remember it. Well, it was basically I'm not this body. I'm not this. I can't remember it, but I used to say it all the time. But it's getting you. It's from the master teacher, of course. It's getting you to detach and say, if I can remember the first line, I'll probably remember it, because this is something we used to say back in the day all the time. But yeah, if I can find it, or there's a brother or sister that can remember it, we'll post it in the Telegram. But yeah, but it was basically trying to get you to recognize that you are not this bacteria, carbon-based skin suit that people spend so much time, feeding, washing, putting all kinds of cosmetics on it, but they don't spend the same amount of attention on their spiritual being. All right? Jack and Takathia for Jackie, you've been waiting so patiently. Go ahead. You've got your hand up, so you can unmute and ask your question.
Yes, Robert. I wanted to add, as to why I believe that some people will not leave religion, because I just see so much loyalty to the leader. It just appears that if the leader would have a different teaching, they're looking at the leader to guide them. And that is what I've noticed. It just seems to me like no matter what you tell them, unless the leader tells them, because you're just so much love and admiration. The leader knows best, and the leader, it has to come from the leader. So I would look at that to say only if the leader could make this turn, they would also turn with the leader.
Right.
That's what I want to add to that.
Tua, but how can you lead when you don't know where you're going? How can you follow someone? It's like the blind leading the blind. So that's why in religion, people that leave religion, they have to wake up themselves. And then what happens is when they do wake up, then they become an outcast, because they start to ask questions. And the questions they ask, because they're so-called leaders don't know, they turn it on them and say they're heathen, infidel, whatever names they call you, because you're just asking questions. But it's a good point you're making, and that's why we say you have to be your own leader, because you can't leave your soul to someone else. That's the one thing that you have that no one can take away from you unless you willingly give it up. And you could be tricked into giving it up. And that's what happens, where people don't realize that your soul, even though you can sell it here, it's not collected until you're crossing over. You see, this is why when people are about to cross over and they're on their dying bed, that's when they become religious all of a sudden and start asking for all the forgiveness and this and that, because when you take these ceremonies like the baptism, the shahadas, and different terms they used, being born again, right? You're being born into giving your soul to these entities in these religions without knowing it. But you call him or her God, or giving my life to Jesus, giving my life to, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what this Jesus is, which is a demonic being. But again, me saying that to some people, it's like, whoa, like, or even when we say God is not what you think it is, because you're just using a generic term. But you have never actually seen that being. And then when you read the reason why he doesn't want to be seen and he's hiding, he says that no one should see. In the Bible, they tell you can't see God and live. You don't think why? Because these are these entities, these disagreeable, hideous extraterrestrials that eat human flesh. And that's part of the reason why they choose certain people to do the works for them. You see? I saw, was it NY? I tried to bring you up on stage a few times, but it doesn't seem to. Let me try again. I see you have your hand up on Clubhouse, but I've tried to bring you up on stage. Okay, there you go. Yeah, please, you can unmute and ask your question or make your comments.
Rahubat, say good.
Rahubat.
Hey, brother, I've been following you, and I'm a Wu-Sabat since I met you online on YouTube. Man, I've been so humbled, and I decided to leave Germany for Ghana.
Okay.
Forever. my question is, since I got here to Ghana, my own people, my village, my families, and all the friends, and you name them. Brother, everybody is sleeping. If my mother should be alive, she will still be sleeping.
Right.
So now, the more I read the Patriarchs and listen to the videos and the teachings, and I'm always on YouTube, brother. The more I learn, the more I know, man, I know nothing. So my question is, what is going to happen to our brothers in Africa? The majority that don't know Wu-Sabat.
Okay.
What can I do, or what can we do to establish Wu-Sabat here, especially in Ghana and the whole Africa? But because this is so dear to my heart, after knowing the truth, ever since I was a child, I knew there was something wrong with religion. I always felt that.
Tua. Okay, firstly, I want to...
So,
okay, go ahead.
I have 1,000 million questions for you, but not today.
Okay, Huawei.
So,
First,
so brother,
yeah.
so my village need Wu-Sabat.
All right.
What should I do? What can I do?
Tua, got you. The first thing I wanted to say is, yes, thanks for your kind words. It's not me, it's Partner Babyanun, right? This is one of the things we always have to emphasize. That's why I keep saying that. He's the one that came and woke me up and woke many of us up. And so the gratitude is really for him. Now, the second part is you are the God now. This is what we're talking about in terms of, you are now been given that responsibility to go and, sorry, I think I've lost. Are we still on Clubhouse? Because it seems,
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It just shut down on my side, that's right. Yeah, so you are the God now where you have a big responsibility. And this is what we're saying, that whoever is in a location or in a place and they have been ignited by Wu-Sabat, they have to recognize that we have to now work with you, especially if you've got that calling to establish and build there and teach. You can just start off with study groups, but this is the thing. The power is in you. Your ancestors are with you. You have been guided back there to do that work. And it's down to you now whether or not you rise to the occasion. And and just share as much as you know. Don't think you're on your own, because we have our ancestors with us at all times, you see. So what I'm saying is, you are that person, that light that's going to start to spark other people off. That's what it takes. It starts with one person. As to thousands of questions you've got for me, we can do a one-to-one. I do them with other people all the time, where we can sit down. We can do a one-to-one. You can ask us anything. That's our phrase, right? So, that's why we're here. We as student teachers.
I have to be honest,
Yeah.
I'm scared a little bit.
You're
I
scared.
scared sometimes when sometimes when I be put some questions that I cannot answer them. You know, that's where the fear comes in.
No, don't be
The
afraid.
information that I've been getting from reading, the last book I read was uh, the healing, the science of healing.
Science of healing, yeah.
Yes, but the information that I got myself, I have to read this book again to
Yeah.
make sure that I know nothing. The more I read, the more research I make, the more I see that I know nothing. I need to put in more.
We're all in
So
that.
imagine
Yeah.
myself in my village, people and telling them all these things. They will throw me questions back. You know, that's what it comes to, that I think I'm not ready yet.
Right. The thing is, the master says this, right? Our worst is better than their best. Meaning, you can read one book from the master teacher and you will learn more than someone who has been in religion for 20 years. That's how crazy, well, not crazy, that's how impactful Wu-Sabat is. So what we're saying is you have to teach what you know. What you don't know, you can't teach. So you have to just start with what you know. But there is obviously, in terms of experience and tactfulness and knowing how to not be egotistical and all these things come with it, because sometimes the minute we know something, we want to run and start to most people show off and show that they know more than the other person, like it's a competition. Wu-Sabat is not like that.
Right.
Yeah, Wu-Sabat is not a competitive thing. It's been given to us as a gift from Natharu, and it's about how you share it and wake other people up. There's nothing as noble or great as you helping somebody else to wake up from that sleep, from that spell. So take your time. It's not going to be overnight.
Okay.
And the thing about not knowing the answers is such a good place to be, because you feel like I have to go and find out. If somebody asks you a question and you don't know, you have that burning desire I must go and find out the answer. And for us, you're lucky and fortunate that, well, not lucky, and English throws me off a lot, but we have the Telegram group where you can ask. We have many student teachers you can ask, and we have the classes you can ask. Ultimately, we have Partner Babyanun also that we can ask. So, this is Wu-Sabat's alive. Yeah.
But before go on mute, before I go, I have this question. So, the language.
Yeah.
As an African from Ghana, right? I'm a native. I can and I know almost 3 or 4 languages here.
Yeah.
And now, what about Wu-Sabat, the language that you have been teaching? What, do I have to learn that? I mean, I don't get it. To be an African and also learning this language to wit.
You do.
What?
We all have to learn it. And you're not an African. That's a label that you've been given. You are a Nuapian. And this is the point that Partner Babyanun is trying to make. We use that term because it's how we are classified worldwide, right? When you start to look at the races on the planet. And the African, as they look at it or refer to it, is that root race. As I read, everyone comes from us. So, but the word Africa is to divide. That's what it means, from the word Afrika or Faraka. And that's what they did to us. So we only use that term because of the labeling. But once you graduate from that, you have to start saying you're a Sabian or Nuapian, right?
Nuapian.
Yeah, but the reason is because in Africa, there were so many languages or dialects, even in just like, say, Ghana or even in Nigeria and not to mention the rest of the continent. So everyone will want their language to be the language that we should all adopt. So this is why Partner Bible was like, no, we all going back to the root, to one language that unites all of us, that everyone has to learn, as opposed to the divisions. And, you know, the Yoruba is going to say, the person that speaks Yoruba is going to say, let's all speak Yoruba. Hausa man's going to say, let's all speak Hausa. Akan's going to say, let's speak Akan. You know, Tree, they're going to say. So it's like these beings, these Natharu, the overseers, are smarter than we are. They have it all already set out for us. We just have to listen and do as we're instructed. I see your hand, sis. Let me just finish. So does that make sense? So we all have to learn it.
Yes.
We're all learning it. But not only that, this language is not from the planet. It was imported here. And where we're going, that's what they speak. So you can't go somewhere and then don't know the language. So you're being prepared now. It's a language of tones, vibrations, and frequency, which will help us to unite and be more powerful as one. So there is a science behind the language. The master teacher says if we learn the language, it solves like 95% of all our problems, you see. But we can't, we just have to adapt, because we resist thinking, oh, I've got my own language, I'm an African, I've been like, no, your ability is to be able to learn any language on the planet. And the reason you can do that is learning the root language on the planet links you to all the other languages, and you learn them even quicker because they all came from it. You can see some of the words in Akan in Miss Batia as well. So
It's similar.
yeah, so it tells you it's very similar, very similar. All right. There are lots of other hands up, so I'm going to have to move on this.
Okay, brother.
Yeah, but yeah, let's book that 1-to-1. Don't be afraid. We know we'll be able to get it done. All right.
Sure.
All right, Tibbs, you've got your hand up, and then I'll read the chat. We've got quite a few questions in the chat. Tibbs, you there? On Zoom?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, go ahead, Jamal.
My question is about AI. Is there any way I can read about what the master says about AI, artificial intelligence, and how it's going to affect the world?
Right.
Because we did some research, found out like 90-something% of the world are already mapped with their Bluetooth individuals and Bluetooth transmitters.
Right.
Satellites are already up. They have the 15-minute cities all mapped up.
Right.
The digital currency and these now identities are already in place. So
Yeah.
what does the master say about it, and how do we get out of it?
Okay, Tua. There isn't a specific book, but this is why we keep telling people to come inside I see your hand as well, Zamata. He gave us information in an update. So this is why we're saying that things that are happening every day, something new might be discovered or recovered tomorrow, but we are at the breast of the master teacher giving us the latest. He explained to us that AI is from extraterrestrials, right? And they are using it, as they've been doing with computers, to dumb down the world and people in order to control them. But like everything else, if you master it, if you know how to utilize it, you're not going to be on the receiving end. In fact, you're going to be utilizing it for our benefit. You know, so this is why, even though it's an extraterrestrial technology, when you really think about AI, it's artificial. But you yourself are natural, and you have more power than AI, and you are an electromagnetic being yourself. So when you're saying people are becoming Wi-Fi, and all, it's all in us anyway. You know, there's nothing you find outside on the planet, in the universe, that's not within you. But you just have to know how to utilize it or how to tap into it, you see. So we shouldn't really be afraid of these things. We just got to be on the right side of it so that we are not the victims, because we have no knowledge of how to use it. But it's something like everything else, can be positive or negative, can be used against you, or you can utilize it for your benefit. So we're not supposed to fear anything, and you just got to learn how to to use it to your advantage. But as I said, it was in an update, it's not in the book. There may be a scroll coming out soon that the master might go into it more, elaborate further. But yeah, it's something that what we don't realize is the foods we eat. For example, we take a lot of metals or ions into our body. IONS. Just do some research on ions, and like, you are a receiver and a transmitter at the same time. You receive all the the electromagnetic spectrum, basically. So the gamma rays, the ultraviolet, the infrared, you pick it up, especially as a Nagaru, because black attracts and pulls everything towards us. So this is why you have to know about the things you put into your body. So if you're eating microwave foods, we're all guilty of it at times, but we have to do the cleansing to get the metals out of our bodies, you see. So like you say, technology, AI, cryptocurrencies, all of these things, whether you like it or not, 5G's been out, and you have to learn and study these things. And that's why we, as the gods and goddesses, we have to master these things. Yeah, so I hope that helped.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, because, who do I speak to if I have, I spoke to somebody about her?
Sorry, I didn't catch the last part. Who do you speak to about? You still there? Your line is coming in and out. Okay, when you're able to, sorry, say it again. Yeah, we can't hear you. All right, let me just take a moment to look at the chat. There's some questions in here. Okay. Oh, Selket, Tawat. So can you repeat? Okay, I covered that.
Sorry, my network went off.
Okay, you're back. Yeah, what were you saying? There was another thing, the last part of it.
We're looking at the options to how to get the master out. And one, I spoke to somebody and they have a full system of how to get people out in that kind of situation, where the legal system does not apply anymore to you.
Okay.
So who can I touch base with?
Right. Are you in any of our groups? If you're not, we are all in the group. You can actually instant message me, and we can put you into the legal team and the right people to help. The thing is,
I think I got your number that time I came to UK when you had the meeting. Remember?
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So I got your number.
Yeah, it's not any one individual person that's gonna free the master teacher, because we know what we need to do. And that's why the whole class, if I just reset the room, that's what this is about, really. So I'm glad you brought it back to that. Will you help us to help you? And this is the way we work together to do what we need to do is going to be more impactful and effective. That's why we're saying to people, come close, help out, be amongst the people so that you can be in the right place to know what you need to do. We actually have projects, different stores, different communities are working on many things, but it's really about now, where we are at now. Of course, it's the most urgent in terms of, excuse me, I normally set my alarm 5 minutes before the chant, so it's coming up to 9 o'clock. We normally, we give the instructions of what to do amongst the family with those who really want to do it, and not just lip service, because many people, they talk and say a lot of things, but when it actually comes to the action part, you realize that people start making excuses why they can't. All of a sudden, they're not Africans. But I know not everyone is hiding in the shadows, but we do need everyone to bring their A game now and help so that we can all do what we need to do to get the master home.
Can you give me a time frame I can touch base with you?
You listen, man. When it comes to the master's freedom, you can call me anytime, and I will. I'll be available.
Okay,
So
I'll send you a time. Thank you very much.
no problem.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Bye.
Anyone else? We've got half an hour left. If you haven't asked your question yet. Yeah, you had your hand up. Sorry, sis. Yeah, let me see. I don't know. Are we still on Clubhouse? Because my phone be. Are we still on Clubhouse? Okay. Go ahead, Zamata.
In terms of kind of going back to the title of the class in reality.
Yeah.
In terms of help, I'm speaking for me personally, but I think what would be helpful would be things like coming together and having like breathing classes.
If someone's on Zoom, can they let him know that he's not in Clubhouse anymore?
Oh, can you hear me?
Cool, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, my phone was playing up for a minute, but yeah, we're back. Sorry, go ahead, Samantha.
Oh, no, sorry. Things like like breathing classes, language classes, even like classes where we all come together and we just not just Q&As, but like throw energy back and forth with each other, ideas, minds in the room kind of thing. Now, obviously, all of those things take time, and time's money. So I know we spoke about the free will offering and things like that, but specifically like a breakdown of if we wanted those things to happen, how would we be able to help that happen?
I got you. These things are already happening or should be happening in the different stores, locations where they have a program. Really, we're supposed to have like what you're talking about. Thursdays are designated our spiritual nights, and people should be gathering then to do breathing exercises and do the spiritual work that you're talking about. And then we have language classes where people should be going to learn the language. We have brothers or Nuwapian man meetings where every brother, every man that considers himself a Nuwapian should be going to. And it's the same with the sisters. But the thing is, at different locations, different stores are not all running the programs all at the same time because they lack the help, right? It's easy I see all the hands up on Zoom. I haven't forgotten about you. People can come up with ideas. That's great. We have a million ideas. Executing and actually delivering those ideas is the challenge. So if someone says we should do this, they have to be willing to go, okay, I'm going to take ownership of that and see it through. Like speak to the right people, say, I'm interested in starting this class or whatever on this day. Can I get support to do it? And people will support. But the thing is, people start things as well. Starting is not a problem. I say this all the time. People start a race. People go to university. The first semester, everyone's there, like enrolled. Or if you're running an 800 miles marathon. people, that's interesting. I want to touch on that because Siri and Alexa be listening to us all the time. But they will start at the beginning. You have a lot of people start, but as the race is going on, because the starting is fine, but there's endurance, there's tests, there's challenges, obstacles, and all kinds of, even a business. You can start a business. It's great to start, but then you have to deal with all the challenges along the way. And so what happens is things are started. The people that say we want it, they don't really help or get involved or see all the way to the end. So what happens is that a class will start, it will be filled with people at the beginning, and then as you go along, people start to drop off. They don't have the endurance to take it to the end. And it's the same with university. You can see how many people start and how many people graduate. Or in the race, you see when they start, there's loads of people at the beginning, but as it's getting to the end, you start to see the gaps, right? You have that person who's at the lead, he's like the one that is really setting the pace. Then there'll be others, and then the rest of the people are way back there. So with everything, it's challenges. We could have done the first video on OSM Vision, and then you never got another video again. Or we may have done a few and then drop off. But the thing is, to be courageous to start it. And like the brother said, I'm the only person in my village right now that knows Wu-Sabat. In a year or 6 months' time, when I speak to him again, he should have taken it further, because it is challenging. That's when you show you're being God or goddess. Like, are you willing to do what it takes to see it through? The master has been doing this from 1962, and he's still willing to go all the way, you know. So I do take your point. Some of these classes are already there. People are not supporting, but we're happy to start anything. But are we going to get the support, and are people going to attend? Right? Does that help? Yeah. Okay. Monique, and then Colby, and then Tibbs again on Clubhouse. I mean on Zoom.
I have a question also.
And then the sister as well. Sorry, I don't know your name yet. Monique, you can unmute your mic. Rahubat Zamata.
I've been trying to get in for a minute.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to figure out where to start. I think the first thing I want to touch on is just what the sister just said in class.
Mm-hmm.
So we have been, myself and a few other sisters have been putting the idea together of our sisters group. So I just want to encourage any of the sisters that are on at the moment that are interested in coming together. Please, if you're in person in class right now, leave your number, your name with Zamal. And it's actually something that myself and Basat are working on, like right now this week. So please leave your name, send a message, send an email, send a WhatsApp, so we can actually get that moving. There was a few comments that were made in the chat and throughout the class today.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to them after, but go ahead if you want to.
Yeah, I just want to encourage, I guess, some of the newcomers. I had an experience yesterday, and I'm not going to be long, I'm going to be very, very brief, but this is just to encourage the 3 C's. It was something that I came across when I first was introduced to, or came across Wu-Sabat, which is the 3 C's, and myself and my partner have always stayed very down with the 3 C's: the commitment, the confidence, and the consistency. And I think sometimes when we have these conversations, there's a lot of silence, there's a lot of arming, and people aren't really sure where. And we start to speak about, offerings, and then people aren't really too sure what they can do. Like, if you actually just are confident enough to come up with an idea, you're committed to that idea, and you stay consistent with it, then we actually can do anything. But in terms of a sister wrote something in the group about, she's new and she's reading, and she's wanting to learn more. I had an experience yesterday that I was led to. I wasn't supposed to be where I was. I had no intentions of being there. I just so happened to be there by way of my ancestors, literally. And I was approached by a young man, and his question, he said, "Look, miss, this is such a random question." He said, but I'm trying to explain to my colleague, I was in a store, and he said, "I'm trying to explain to my colleague that we all came from Africa, and everyone came from Africa, and everyone came from us. But because of environment, our melanin changed." And my eyes opened, because I'm like, wow, okay. Like, this guy has actually, I'm in a store, and this has come to me, right? And I don't want to talk about the whole experience, but basically I spoke with these brothers, 3 brothers and a sister, for the best part of 40 minutes in a store as a newcomer to Wu-Sabat, thinking that I didn't know what I know, thinking that I didn't know enough. And my encouragement is that when you come closer and you stay committed and you have the confidence and the consistency and you come to class and you come to the store and you help out where you can, you'd be surprised how much knowledge and information you're picking up by way
Absolutely.
of the student teachers, by way of reading a book with another brother or another sister. And when you're put into certain situations, when someone asks you a question and you feel like you might not know how to answer it, you'll be surprised how your 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 inner being actually just starts to speak. I'm telling you, my mouth was literally just moving.
Yeah.
Like, and the next question came, and I kind of caught myself again. And next thing I know, my mouth is moving again.
Yeah.
And it's all from information that I've been able to learn by being close with our brothers and our sisters. So I just wanted to maybe just encourage. I can see that there's a lot of people saying I'm still new, and I'm still new. But the closer we come together, the more ideas we put together, and the more we stay consistent. I'm telling you, like.
I think I'm going to resign. You can come and take class. I couldn't put it any better myself.
Yeah, I just wanted to encourage like newcomers,
Tour.
like that really and truly, like there is no such thing. Once you're in, you're in. We haven't got time to waste.
Tour.
Yes, if you're getting these DNA explosions and everything is like yeah, then when the question is asked in class, like can ask me a question, Samal. Like the question is
Oh.
class.
Oh, today's class is
Yeah.
will you help us to help you?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I'll help you by way of what I've learned at university, by way of my degree, what I've learned in my career, what I've learned through life. Yes, I will. I will just apply it as best as I can.
Thank you.
To what I know to be the truth and to be actual facts. And that's just my encouragement.
Tua, tawutat.
Tawata.
Okay, yeah. You said something that I want to just touch on very quickly and then I'll move on to Colby. The inner being, the God in you is there, and all you have to do is take that step and you will be utilized. That's pretty much what our sister Monique is saying. It's like, this is what the activation is. You are really that supreme being. You just got to allow it to just work through you, allow Wu-Sabat to work through you. All right. So Kobe, you're next. You have your hand up. And then I'm going to start. Yeah, go ahead. Reading the chat. Rahubat.
So I saw this on the OSM quiz the other day. DUF 1220. Can I ask you about that? What was?
Sorry, there was an interference. What did you say? You saw what on
It was a question on the OSM quiz that they do on YouTube. And it was about DUF 1220.
Yes, I got you now. Yeah, what's your question?
What is it?
Oh, okay. I think you would find that it's the DUF 112, right?
Yeah, no, 1220.
1220. Yeah, the 12. Yeah, it's a gene that deals with speech and how the females spoke first. What was I didn't see the quiz, but I mean, what was the actual question? But that's what it's relating to.
Can I just find it?
Yeah, I think it's in the actual fact designer genes. Let me see if I can. Or is that master secret? I'm gonna look for it in the meantime.
Yeah, let me look as well.
But yeah, I don't know if I have it with me, but
It's upstairs in the bookstore, so.
is it there? Okay, if you can grab it for me, please. Yeah.
It says so. It's a multiple choice quiz. It says, what is DUF 1220 described as? And then the choices are a new human race, a chromosome count, a type of extraterrestrial, primate brain expansion mystery.
Okay. I don't know for those who can see my screen, I quickly Okay, here we go. I've got the scroll. Yeah, the scroll called, it's a gene, right? So for those who can look at my screen, it's got, I've just Googled it. It says DUF 1220 is a protein domain encoded almost exclusively by genes of the neuroblastomal breakpoint family NBPF. But I'm going to see if I can find it in this. Yeah, look at that. I've turned to the page, straight to the page. So if you have the designer genes, Master Secrets number 22, on page 3, in fact, let me go from page 2 and I'll just read it. In fact, I'll start from page 1. So this is called the designer genes. 1. 1220 par Rasam Ur Yakas Kawun DUF 1220. The designer gene is DUF 1220. 2. DUF 1220 is the mystery of primate brain expansion. 3. The Muthathalu extraterrestrials use it to make a kind of man in their own Shaba image and like them. Yet, who would never mentally grow older than Par Akal, the mind of a 13-year-old? 4. The smartest of the Kuradu simians only have Par Akal, the mind of a 3 to 6-year-old. 5. The simian or monkeys have 48 chromosomes. That 48 chromosome is equal to the planet Project Sector 24, or 24 plus 24, giving you the 48. 6. So 24 plus 24 equals 48 chromosomes of the simians grown on this Mikab planet, who become the ape-man, chimpanzee, and others. 7. It was to control Pardama, the brain, to make this new kind of Zazaz man, a primitive worker as chimpanzee, can and do use tools. 8. Once the extraterrestrials mix their own 46 chromosomes to match the new axis of the planet 23 degrees, you had 23 plus 23 equal 46 chromosomes. 9. And the outcome of the simians 48 and the Pa Mukma'u, the Pleiadians, 46, with the Anunnakis 47 chromosomes, was a savant person with the mind of all three and often undeveloped physical actions. 10. The mind of the simian, a 3 to 6 year old, Pa Akal, the mind of the Pleiadian, a wicked, evil extraterrestrial. 11. The result was a Razam or Yakaz designer gene called now DUF 1220. Now that they have knowledge of genomes or kenomen, earth names, naming each of the Yakasat genes of the genome and the helix naming things able to speak, there is a misconception that the larger the brain, the higher the intelligence, which actually is incorrect. 13. The higher intelligence is dependent upon the increased number of neurons in the Dhamma brain. 14. For example, primates have more neurons than non-primates. So 15. The DUF 1220 domain is made up of 65 amino acids and is located in a certain part of the first chromosome, right? And then it goes on, because we're running out of time, I'm going to skip a bit, but it says, yet the number of changes, this is verse 17, the number of changes in copy and most extreme were found to be due to sequences encoding the DUF 1220. There are many more copies of the DUF 1220 encoded in the human genome compared to the genome of any other species. Humans have approximately 270 copies, much, much more than the great apes, who have between 90 to 125 copies. Monkeys have 25 to 40 copies, and especially prosimians and non-primate mammals, 20, approximately 160 copies of DUF 1220 were added specifically to the human genome approximately 5 to 6 million years ago. This expansion relates to an average of 28 copies added specifically to the human genome every million years since this time. So I think I was mistaking it with when I was talking about the speech. That's something else. But yeah, this is what you're referring to, the designer genes, because this, if you haven't read this master secret called the designer genes, series number 22, it goes into it and just gives you the different copies of that DUF 1220 and what it means and what it does. Tua?
Tourism, I'll look into that.
Yeah. Wow, there's still people joining the class. We have over 40 people. Let me quickly answer some of the questions in the chat if they haven't already been answered, and then we can summarize and round off. The subject to me means that, okay, that was somebody answering what I said about the subject. The subject, this is from Brown Sugar 72. The subject to me means that we are in our own way. We have to step outside of religion, their way of life, what we think we know, and open our minds up to sound right reasoning and take back our life through Wu-Sabat. Lloyd Tawona, I am excited to help and be part of the community. I'm still new and learning, reading, attending classes, and getting familiar with the teachings and culture. I know I have a lot to offer, and I want to make sure I'm aligned so I can contribute in the most meaningful way. I still have many questions, and I'm looking forward to visiting one of those stores soon to learn more. Okay, good. These are not really questions, but good comments. Terry says, it doesn't kind of make sense how much people are deep-rooted into these religions. Even when you show them the evidence from their own scriptures, they still hold on. This reminds me of one of the writings of the master teacher where he was amazed about how good a job they have done with the people with the spell of Kingu. Absolutely. When this is from D. When a close relative dies and their wish is to be buried instead of cremated, what issues can this cause remaining close family? Well, at the end of the day, you have to, if that's what their wish is, that's what their wish is. We respect the wishes. If that's what people want, we don't interfere in Wu-Sabat. So this is why it's very important to make like wills and make sure that you leave instructions of, because we know better. If we don't prepare, then you can end up in that situation. So you got to let your family know from now, write a will, let them know you'd like to be cremated as opposed to be buried. Benedicta, Rahubat, quick question. Do you know why the UK government is sending an alert to everyone's phone? I'm glad you asked that question. Everyone's phone tomorrow, what does it mean? Okay. They did a test during COVID, if you remember. This is, I think, the second time. They're preparing, of course, in emergencies. They have to know how they will be able to contact and alert people in case of an emergency. The question should be, what kind of emergency? Because we're seeing tensions arising all across England. People are putting up flags. They're fighting against so-called immigration and the boats and all that kind of thing. Thorne in America is putting troops in Washington. And most people know that the meteorite is heading onto the planet. There's so many things that we've spoken about that can happen between now and 2030. Excuse me. So they're preparing. And we should also be preparing. So that is one of the ways they will actually during World War One and Two, these were the types of, you had to know when the siren goes off. Even now during the war in Ukraine and Gaza and between Israel and Russia, people get an alert before a missile drops or stuff like that. So they're testing. So like we say, be very aware of the things that the policies and the laws and things that are being implemented. So they're testing to make sure that in case of an emergency, they will be able to send a message to people to know what to do or where to go. So Benedicta, that's your question. Yeah, so if your phone is not set to receive that alert, you won't get it. But, it's happened before during COVID, and all of these things were preparations for anything that can take place, so that's going to happen. So that's why we keep telling people, come close, be a part of the family, because not everything's going to be spoken of publicly. One other question from Kweku. What is the difference between soul travel and astral projection? Okay, astral projection is your astral body is projecting outwards, whereas soul travel is the ability to travel further, because without a soul you cannot travel to certain realms. And this is why those of us as Nagaru with souls, if you don't activate your soul, if you lose your soul, or you sell it, or I think it was what's his name, the rapper DMX. Yeah, he said, I sold my soul to the devil and the price was cheap, in one of his lyrics. But yeah, so the soul is what you need to transcend and travel further to go to the higher realms. Whereas astral projection, you can come out of your body and travel within your local environment and not necessarily be able to go to the higher realms. And some people do go to different dimensions, and then they come back and they relay their experience and tell people they know what heaven is like or whatever, but they don't tell people, or maybe they don't know, that they've only been to a particular aspect or a dimension and not the higher realms. So, all right, that's all the questions in the Zoom chat. Let's have a quick look at the ones on Clubhouse, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. So in the chat, not much I can see. Okay, here we go. So, religion teaches fear. That's from Atefet. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Neri. Some people don't want to wake up. They want to remain asleep. They will get angry when you wake them up and tell you to leave them alone. That's so true. That analogy I was using about the sleep when you're waking up from sleep. Some people just push you away, fight you to go back to sleep. And then you have to say, you got to get to work, or you got to get to college or whatever. You have an appointment. But they literally will fight you off. So that's true. What else? My break is over. I can still listen in. Not so free to speak. Often love this class. Understand what you are saying and agree. I will continue to do my part to help in the freedom fight.
The class has gone quiet. I can't hear anything somehow. It's immaculate.
You know what? This is Clubhouse will be messing about. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, my mic was just muted for some reason. I'm not sure how far back it's been. What was the last thing you heard?
You said something about the chats, and then we didn't hear anything else.
Oh, I was just reading the questions and the comments in the chat, and then I was just reading the ones in Clubhouse. I'll just go through them again. They're not many. So I was reading the one from Atefet Neri, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Zamaltat. Some people don't want to wake up, they want to remain asleep. They will get angry when you wake them up and tell you to leave them alone. And I was explaining that, yes, that's for the analogy I was saying about people that sleep when they wake up with an alarm, or they, somebody wakes them up and they fight them to go back to sleep. This is what's happening with, people in religion and us waking them up, and they don't want to wake up yet. And sometimes it takes a really serious event for them to actually wake up. Like if you pour water over them, they will jump out of bed. And it's the same when they have to be in a situation where it's, just there, like it's COVID or something happens, and then people wait, oh my gosh, imagine, right? They say God is the most powerful, or Allah or whatever, but in COVID, the government shut down the mosques and the churches. So who's more powerful? Just to give you one of the things that make you go, All right, the next comment was, my break is over. I can still listen in, not so free to speak often. Love this class, understand what you are saying and agree. I will continue to do my part to help in the freedom fight. We got John Campbell. Please have that brother turn down whatever is in the background of his house. Sounds like he's listening from multiple devices. Okay. All right. So yeah, the last.
That was that was when the other gentleman was talking. It was a big echo. I was trying.
Okay. Wow.
That's how
Tour. Yeah. Sometimes we have to remember that. Oh, go ahead, sister. You'll be the last question for today, and I'm gonna wrap up.
It's not a question. It's kind of like an experience. Can I share it?
Of course.
Okay. So I wanted to share the first time that I actually came to the store.
Okay.
And it's funny because I had been watching videos and stuff before for like months at a time. And I always had it in my mind, like, I'm going to come down. Just never, ever happened. And it's funny, I thought to myself, oh, okay, I'm going to go down this weekend. Completely forgot about it. Went to fall asleep. And I literally woke up in a panic.
Okay.
And I was panicking because I was like, I need to be somewhere. I don't know where I need to be, but for some reason I feel like I need to be somewhere. And then I start looking at my phone because I'm like, did I book something? Did something happen? But I just felt inside me, like, you know that feeling like when you're late for school or late for work or late for something?
Yeah.
That's the feeling that I had. So I was like, something must be happening. I must be needing to go somewhere. And then I remembered what day it was, and I was like, oh, wasn't I going to go to that place? What time is it? And then I looked at the time and I was like, oh, I think they're already going to start. Let me run down there. And then I thought, okay, let me call up and see if it's too late or so on and so forth. And I called up and somebody answered the phone and actually said, oh, actually, we're actually having an event today. So it's actually going to start an hour later than usual. So you can just take your time and yeah, we'll see you then. So, yeah, no, I just wanted to share that because I thought that was hilarious how we're talking about all of this.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
Have you not ever, I don't know, I'm going to share this. Have you not ever felt when you're going to sleep and you literally feel a hand or someone push you or like tap you? I don't know. I've had that experience. So this goes to show you that your ancestors that are watching over you will help you, wake you up, direct you. You may be like, I need to get somewhere, but you never get there because something keeps happening or there's an interruption, and then you come to find out they were just protecting you because they didn't want you to be on that bus or on that train or that particular situation where something was going to happen that, they wanted you to avoid. So, yeah, this is why we have to really listen to our ancestors and learn to be in tune with them because they're with us all the time. All right. Did you want to say?
Yeah, it'll be fast. So
That's
it's
okay.
just two brief ones. It's just clear. So I'm a therapist and I'm wanting to integrate Wu-Sabat into my psychotherapy and to help me be more consistent, kind of giving me my obligation to like stay on top of things.
Sure.
When people ask, like, what is Wu-Sabat? Like, I know what it represents. I know what it's connected to, the cultural way of life, the science, and all. And like, but when they ask about the actual word, you know, like Wu-Sabat, because like in the language, like Wu, I usually see as and, but in Sabat, like I know it's connections to Saba as the country, the Sirius star system, and I know that's connection. But like, is there a particular meaning behind the word itself, Sabat?
It literally deals with the Stargate. Because when you're saying where we come from, as in Sirius and Orion, we say Sabatat or Sa'at, you see. So it's really dealing with the Stargates, even though we also break it down as Saba, tying into the female known as Sheba, the Queen of Sheba, or Ma'at Kara'e, and it's like they call her Melkis in Islam. So it's really that gateway, Stargate, that we go through to get back home. And the only being that has those three tones in one to open these Stargates is the master teacher. And it ties into the Dendera, when you had those beings that had those double resonance, like Uncle Natan. So when you look at the Dendera, you got two pairs of beings along the side, and they were
two spirit beings.
Yeah, exactly. The gatekeepers, because they had that double resonance or frequency to open these gates. That's why it's futile for any other mortal on the planet to talk about they know the way or how they can take you to these places we're talking about, like heaven. Because heaven comes from the word haven, which is really a docking station for crafts to dock when they travel. So we're really talking about the star maps and how you, because even when they're talking about the three-eye atlas, this meteorite that is coming, when they show you pictures from the James Webb telescope, what you see is asteroids, and you see, like, you know, the way the planetary bodies move, they're in an orbit. So you really don't know how to travel and go through all of these portals and gateways and stars to get to where we need to get to. So the being like Parnababianun and these types of beings, they're able to open these stargates. And they made a whole series or movie called Stargate, which shows you how they come in and out through these these different, you know, realms. So it's more to it than, you know, we say, Saba, Sheba, but it's really talking about how do we get out of here and through these stargates.
So like the literal translation is "and the stargate."
Yeah, no, it's not like the "and woo" that it doesn't work out like that. I know what you mean, like the word "and" is in woo, but it's not two words put together. It's the whole thing is Wu-Sabat.
Understood.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good question. Great question.
And then quickly, like the difference between like Sabaean and Nuwapian, because like when the brother earlier was asking about, you know, like identifying as African, and you specify like, you know, no, we're Nuwapian, but how would you say the difference if someone asked?
There is no different apart from when you break those words down individually, like Nuwapian goes to the word noob, which is dealing with gold. Yeah, that's the math kozet, or the liquid gold within us, which you need to be able to travel through these stargates. So everything does tie in. So when you say, like the master says, like you have a seat on a craft that's been designed specifically for you, because it's like your DNA is encoded into that seat, so no one else is going to be able to sit in that seat. But you can't be underweight and you can't be overweight. You got to fit in that seat perfectly, and then, you know, you have to be clean as well inside out, so that the liquid gold or the mafkotet is needed for you to be able to travel. So that's how you would break down that noob, or when we say Nuwapian, Nubu, or Nuwapu, that first part is dealing with that gold. When we say Sabian or Saba, as I already explained, the first part is dealing with that stargate, but at the same time, because in ancient times, you got other people that claim to be Sabians, as in those beings, right, from the Ottoman Empire and those fake Sabians. So It's another way of us differentiating who we are from those people. But we are both those people because we are the same people that have that liquid gold, which is what part of what they were doing in terms of trying to, they call it the elixir of life as well. So they used to like find our ancestors, crush the bones into a powder, and then ingest that. So they can also have the ability to live much longer or to be able to open these gates and stuff or travel, but they can't because they're limited, the six ether beings, right? Because of the mixture with the different animals. This is what we were just reading in the Designer Genes that touches on the fact that they were mixed with Homo simians, canines, and porcine, which now limits their ability to be able to transcend or travel past the six ether. Yeah.
That's helpful. So it's the Sabaean Nuapian is specifying more that, you know, not just that people are from the country Saba, but like Sabaeans, Nuapians.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. 1 second, sis. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I was just, so like, it's just specifying Sabaean Nuapian. So like Sabaean as like people of, you know, the star people, essentially, like people of the
star
Stargate,
people that came here, yeah.
Right, and of course you have the culture of Wu-Sabat, and Nuapian of, you know, DNA-wise, just those liquid gold, the gold children.
That's right, golden children. We've got a part of that called the golden children, which all ties into that gold. And I said before that you are composed of everything that is on the planet and the universe. But a lot of us are now toxic in terms of what people, they refer to as we got junk DNA. They say we only use 24%. But that what they're calling junk DNA is junk to them, but not to us. But that's part of how we have to be activated with Wu-Sabat and applying the knowledge. Someone was speaking, I'm not sure who that was.
Nicole.
Oh, Nicole. All right, go ahead, Nicole. We've gone over time, but it's fine. Go ahead, Nicole.
Yes, Amar. When you say when the being they have deceased, right? And you are trying to get to them.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, you say when beings are deceased.
Yeah.
Yes, so if they're gone back now in somebody else's body in another family, would you still get to them if you want to get them a message?
Sorry, did you say when beings are deceased?
Yes, and they gone back in another body to finish their journey, like in another family, from baby.
Yeah. They come back.
Yes, no, would you get to them? Would they know that you want to say something to them?
Sorry, the bit that's confusing me in the question is, did you say they come back in another family or another body?
Yes, in another family. So if you want now to get to them, to give them a message, would you get to them?
Yeah, I mean, okay, if you're talking about messages in, when we're communicating with the people on the other side, as in our ancestors that are in the other realms, that's when we use the rituals to the communicating with our Salafu. But if they're on the planet somewhere, this is part of why sometimes you can bump into somebody or like you're like, I feel like I know you, or I've been like somewhere along the lines, you know, you guys may have been related or had some kind of connection. So, but when you're saying get to them in a message, as in, because are you talking about physically or mentally? Because even mentally, we can communicate with people anywhere on the planet. So.
Yes, Mom, mentally, like you could connect with them, you could get to them, you could able to say what you want to say, although they're living in another family, in another body.
Yeah, absolutely. This is when we say when we're talking about epigenetics and the morphogenetic field, what we're basically saying is that wherever we are on the planet, even in another planet in the cosmos, we are still connected by that field. So you can still communicate because we share the mental reservoir as well, where we get the thoughts from. So yes, you can send a thought to anybody on the planet, and especially if they're connected to you by blood or DNA or genetics. So yes.
So what about if they're not connected to you by DNA and they have a different name?
Sorry, that question is confusing. They're not connected to you by...
Okay, if they're your friend or your maybe just your boyfriend or your
Yeah, I
girlfriend
mean,
or so.
if they're your boyfriend, you guys would have more than likely exchanged DNA by bodily fluids, right? So you are still connected
No,
by...
no, no, no. I'm not saying okay. Sometimes not to that kind of deep level.
Okay, so just a friend that you know.
Yes.
Yes, you can be connected because the minute you're in, when you get close to someone, right, you shared the etheric cord that you have is connected to them too, because that's the bond that keeps you guys together. And that etheric cord, it's like, for lack of a better word, imagine an elastic band that is invisible, that is able to stretch for any distance, and you're connected by those connections with people that you're close with or have a serious bond with. And that's why if you have a bond which is more intimate, when you separate, you feel that pulling, that people call it butterflies, and eventually it takes time before it gets severed. And but if it's a good connection, you will still have that connection with the different people that you've shared that closeness with all over the world. Do you follow? All right. Right, we definitely have to round off now. So the title of the class today was, Will You Help Us to Help You? I showed you on the website where you can help by helping the legal effort. The information is on the screen again. I also spoke about, the projects that we're working on, such as the Sanctuary of Yanun, which you can help with. Different stores have different projects. We have the 100 project that we're working on, and that's to rebuild. You can go to this site and you can read all about it. Most importantly, there's a number, this number here, at the bottom of the page, 07508649952. You can use WhatsApp, send a message on that number, and we'll get back to you. We obviously have our website, nashat.co.uk, where you can get all the scrolls. Again, if you want to join us, there's a join us button right here. Complete that. You can find all sorts of products there. Our official worldwide website, United Sabians Worldwide, has many updates here. So if you want to read most of the latest updates, again, we'll encourage you to go to the homepage by typing unitedsabiansworldwide.com, and you can click where it says click to get your questions answered right here. You've got the Black Messiah, and then you can click on his picture, or where it says click here to get your questions answered, and you will find many questions and updates here that answer many questions to do with Wu-Sabat. And then you can, of course, submit your question if you have a question for the master teacher as well. And on that note, I want to thank everybody for coming, and you've got a responsibility to also share what you've learned, and don't just be a spectator. Make sure that you're putting it to work. It's like buying a supercar with the best engine and just parking it outside your house. You've got to drive it. You've got to let it work for you. All right. So until the same time, same place next week. And obviously we have our live on Tuesday. Tawakum Wadu.